damage is inflicted from that HE. Big shot from tabseN, though. An important frag at that. It keeps them in this round just about by the slimmest of margins. And tabseN, keeping himself on catwalk, does stop them from pushing onto the site, from spilling out and getting this bomb planted. FAZE now connects himself a frag as well, and tabseN is still alive, still pretty healthy as well. They've brute forced the bomb down, but it's at the cost of more lives, and now Twist is all alone. The bomb not planted for him, no real way to stop this as his players all around him. They're going for the full-on defuse, and they will be successfully getting it. But a lot of that comes down to tabseN and how much time he wasted on catwalk.
He did such a great job there, and he had to go for that play, right? He couldn't just be tucked on in. If he does that, FaZe get onto the bomb side, and they get the bomb down. He just chips away them slowly and slowly. Just a death by 1,000 paper cuts for FaZe, and it was a 4v3, mind you. And Twist actually had the long flank. All they had to do was just get the bomb down, just hold on, delay this retake. But Big, they're like, what retake? We're just gonna get in your faces. At least the bomb getting planted will allow FaZe to go for a buy here. We will have the AK, a couple of Galils coming out to play, and Carrigan with the scout. We've seen him pull off some pretty nasty things with it in the first half. Side of Big, though, it's SMGs, the usual motley buy with the FAMAS and the A1 in the hands of FAZE.
There are threats, though, on the board. Pieces moving into middle. No grenades left on the side of Crimbo. 2 smokes, no incendiaries available. So they're getting aggressive as a result of that. Try and plug in that gap. Meanwhile, FaZe, smoking off the CT side, has now dwindled away, toying with the idea of maybe going for a B wrap, a B split. But if they do go for this, Tizian's in prime position to flank round the back of them quickly with the SMG. It's just whether they can stop this push, though. Crimbo could be caught if he's not careful. Rain wants to get round the corner. Oh, that 1D going to FAZE is filth! And now Brokey comes back with one of his own. How does Rain land that shot? That's absolutely outrageous. And the round has just fallen so far, so fast. And although Twist is going to go down from syrsoN's nade, has the damage already been done?
That is the most unreasonable shot we've seen today. And we've seen some pretty nutty stuff thus far, Vince, but what was that from Rain? He should have been dead to rights. His job was to just go on in, gather information, die for his team so they could trade. Instead, he just deletes the player on the bomb site. What a round from FaZe. What a round from Rain. It was just 1 kill for him, Vince, but that's all he needed.
That was a dry peek with a deagle with 2 players there on B site, and they were both looking in his direction because he wasn't playing stealthy there. He was jiggle peek. He was making tons of noise, and they knew they were being pushed in from middle. So the fact that he still connects that shot, just look at the state of this. Bang! What? That is just absolutely ridiculous.
Like, there wasn't even any icon for him, you know, for the bullet passing through the edge of the wood, the door, or the boxes. Nothing. It was true that pixel little gap, it was able to just hit the reaction shot. Holy hell, major MVP for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. 11-6 FaZe, they lose a pistol. They've lost both the pistols. They still have the lead, 11-6. They have rattled Big a bit here. The AK at least retrieved and in the hands of tabseN, syrsoN with the scout. The rest of them, they will have to go for the full eco. USPs bound for FAV and Crimbo and Tizian for FaZe. AKs in the previous round, even the M4A1 retrieved and dropped for Rain, rewarding him for that 1D.
Quick update on the other game, by the way. Cloud9 take on Astralis on the B stream. It's 9-2 to Cloud9. tabseN aggression gets traded out instantly, though. And considering that was their 1 rifle that they had, their only chance potentially to take this round, that is not a great trade for Big.
It is just so unfortunate for Big that the one game where Brokey is so very quiet, Rain decides to just play like a god. syrsoN, they're just gonna go for the drain. They have a smoke, could use it. Yeah, there we go. Smoke, flash combo, perhaps. Nah, it's all right. Cross on over. neutralize the threat of Sirson and his scout. For Big, they have the Galil and AK, so can kind of hold on to this. There's no need to really give away your life. That being said, though, FAZE tapping away, almost taking down a player. That is Rain, but it is going to be the round for FAZE. Double the rounds that Big possess, Vince, and it's a bit worrying because 12-6 now to scoreline, and this is looking so much more cleaner from FAZE. If you go back a couple of days when they played Dust 2 against OG, it was 16-14, right? It was a very scrappy affair, very back and forth, a lot of mistakes being made. FAZE have looked much better this time around. They're showing why they are one of the best in the world, the best team in the world right now. 12-6. And I like how the desk also spoke about it, right? In post-major, sure, Dallas didn't quite go the way they wanted, but Carrigan said it as well, you know, just a post-major thing. Most teams kind of fall off a little bit, but they seem, and this event is a great way for them to, you know, kind of get back into form heading into the next biggest event of the season, which is IM Cologne, taking place in a couple of weeks. So these are good signs if you're a FAZE clan. They're looking much better, much cleaner. Some of the issues they seem to have in the opening matchup against OG seem to be a distant memory at this point.
Yeah, when you consider especially that Big have 6 rounds, but 5 of them have been off the back of pistols. Keep in mind, they won both pistol rounds, took a 4-0 lead. The one outlier was a round they picked up, basically off unfortunate timing on FAZE 2 times in the round that cost them dearly. Carrigan decides to go walkies through middle, gets punished, splattered down from Falcon's AK. Ooh, damage is significant though, and he's dropped down to 11 in the process. He's also stuck in an awkward spot here. Molotov's being tossed down. That will afford them safe passage to the site now if they want it. The only thing they don't know is whether anyone is residing at the back of the site or Goose. They do have a secondary unit here in the form of Tizian, so FaZe can't take anything for granted.
Okay, FAZE. But there we go, Brokey. We said he's had a quiet game thus far. Vincent seems to have woken up. He needs a delay time, though. Look at how brave he's being. Another kill for him. Spins around, and it's all in FAZE now. 1 versus 2, and he's on 11 HP with the scout. So unless FaZe just... Never mind, Brokey times the peak perfectly. What a hole from Brokey.
He just aced. He gets an ace. He basically completely decapitates Big, doubles up his overall frags as well in 1 round. And has so much impact when it looked like Big could maybe snatch this one away. This is where it starts off. Crazy 1-tap. And then just locks it down with the spray. So well played from Brokey. And it's one of the reasons we kind of highlighted that he was having a bit of a slow start, because everyone knows at this point what this guy's capable of. He's capable of being one of the best players on the planet if he's feeling like it.
Yeah, I guess he kind of heard me talking shit about him, so... Great stuff there, Brokey. Although it was just the, you know, it was the light investment from Big around to save rifles, which honestly shouldn't have gotten that close. But Brokey coming up clutch for his team. Robs is nowhere nearby, so at that point it was virtually a 1 versus 4 for Brokey. Anyway, here we go. The buy coming in now for the side of Big, and the double op setup. Something we've touched upon earlier. It's going to be FAZE wielding the secondary AWP towards the B bomb side, supported by the youngster that is Crimbo, and Sirson. He's going to have to be the rock here towards the car position.
It does make me nervous that there's 2 players stuck at the back of the ramp here, because mollies and flashes can affect both. Sirson burns alive with a flash, and Carrigan just pushes in, takes the head of Tizian. And it plays out exactly as I was highlighting. When you have 2 people clumped together, you're so susceptible to just being utilitied out of the round and having no impact in the process. And Big have completely collapsed this game. Make no mistake, a 4-0 lead to a 14-6 deficit. And they may not strike gold again in this entire map. And this player is their choice. And we're heading to Nuke next.
It's a bit grim. And you can see FaZe, they have so much confidence, even though the money's still not in a very great position because of the previous round. They're going in for the hunt. They want to take away all these weapons poised outside of this V bomb site. Barely any time remaining. And Brokey, I don't even know how he lands that flick, but Crimble will fall. All on FAZE, tucked inside the corner. He will fall as well. And there is nothing going the way of Big. It is just a struggle bus right now for the German side. And if there was ever a time for God B to give a rallying cry for his team. It is now, but even if he does, I don't know if it's going to be enough, Vince. 14-6, and he said it earlier as well. 4 of the rounds came from the first 4 rounds in the first half, and one of those was the pistol round in the second half. It's been phased through and through.
Yeah, exactly. 5 of their 6 rounds purely off pistols, with one outlier. And you know, Yanko was talking about this the last time that we casted FaZe, and you know, he's obviously got personal experience of working with Rain in the past, that if he's feeling it, he's unstoppable. And we've seen it time after time after time in this game. This round runs through, gets an entry, does get traded back, but considering there's only pistols on the team of Big, that AK makes a big difference. Favin did have it for a couple of moments, but getting nailed through the doors, decides to drop it back to Searson. Searson, though, has no Kevlar behind that, but still threads the bullets through the smoke and silences Karrigan. Maybe there is still a way back in here for Big, but they're going to have to tread lightly because T's are now forcing their way down. There's a stack up. Tizian connects with the Deagle, but Rops is there to answer back. The stack again is successful, but Brokey's going to be able to force his way into a post plant. And considering that he's managed to survive back to Goose, he could feasibly clutch this one, but there's Searson. Big headshot. Big get a 7th round.
That is such a huge round coming out from Searson there. No Kevlar, as you pointed out, Vince, but still. Humongous impact with the AK-47, and with that, they've retrieved 2 AWPs as well. This is a huge round. That was a very hard decision for Big to make in the previous round, where they had to decide, do we go for the save and try and battle it out for OT, or do we go for the force buy? So they went for the save. So this should have been pretty much a guaranteed round number 15, a map point for Big, sorry, for FaZe, but still, Big able to turn things around. And if that doesn't inspire a little bit of confidence in this German side, I don't know what will. Okay, Brokey, that was very close, but Searson will find his mark. Karrigan to fall early on.
Like you said, what can God B do about this? What can the coach, the legendary German player, do? Confidence is a must. They're going blow for blow, out on long. FaZe giving as good as they're receiving. 46 HP left on Brokey, 66 on Twist. The Tapson's also worse for wear, picking up the AWP and dropping back to the site. Robson, meanwhile, though, making moves up on the catwalk, and he doesn't get his man. Tapson still connects on 15 HP. And that puts FaZe against the ropes now.
Twist has been lethal thus far, and consider how low Tapson is. Doesn't even need a headshot. How are they going to cross it over, though, is the question. They have to go for the dry peek, and it's now all on Twist. 1 versus 2. He's got a lot of time to work with. He's got Incendiary picked up and lobbed into its CT spawn to kind of keep Favin at bay, but his long flank coming in from Crimbo. That should seal the deal, because I have no idea how he's going to retrieve the C4.
Yeah, that was the nightmare, wasn't it? The slow peek into CT, dropping the bomb down with the death. That felt like the final nail being put in the coffin for round 22 on the side of FaZe. But you cannot write this man off. Been a bit overshadowed perhaps by how well Rain has played this, but Twist has had some huge rounds in his own right with that A4 on the CT side. Speculative shots, knows where both players are, but that's really only a small fraction of the problem that was stacked against him. And Favin puts the last kill in. So that's 2 rounds on the bounce. Big are slowly clawing their way back in, but FaZe will have another buy.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities still for FaZe, so they shouldn't be worried at all. Nice work from Twister to get a trade, but yeah, the lack of any utility to cross on over, the C4 just couldn't cross, and Favin, he's not going to miss too many shots like that. Again, Twist trying his very best to isolate the duels. Oh no, Favin, that's not it. That's not it, but it's okay. Searson gets the kill. A fluffed Incendiary, but if that means they get the opening duel, they're going to take it.
Rain just pushing through the smoke. He's going to fade sooner rather than later. Favin, though, dips down. Now there's 2 players up. Pops up. Knocks one down. Not been punished just yet. There is a second player there additionally. Molly gets tossed in, but does get extinguished instantly afterwards. And strength in numbers on the side of Big. As Favin shows his head one more time and snatches away the life of Rops. It's looking good for Big to potentially get to that double-digit mark, considering there won't be much in the collective kitty of FaZe come the end of this round. May even be looking to try and save onto these two weapons, all things considered, because there's not too much else they can really hope for.
Yeah, they have no control, no eyes towards mid, long, nothing, right? They were committed to trying to go for this B play, but then Favin's shutting it down. Tunnels just littered in with the corpses of FaZe. And for Big, it's about keeping as many players alive as possible. This is clean. This is well done. Still paranoid that it could be a play coming towards long. You can see the way Tizian is holding, watching for the cross, but yeah, it's not to be. And I'll start off with Sirsen. What a flick. What a flick by Sirsen. The double ops doing all the talking. FaZe really having no answer.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you reply to a flick like that, really. I think you just got to tip your hat and say, fair enough, mate, that was a ridiculous shot. And now some doubt perhaps creeping into FaZe. They were flying. It looked like they were just going to finish this one off quick, like a 16-6, 16-7 scoreline. And now they're edging their way back in. Was that a Batman mask in the background, or am I seeing things?
Maybe you're seeing things, maybe you're not. Have you ever seen Batman and Karrigan in the same room at the same time?
That is true.
There we go. I think he was brilliant in the new movie, the Batman. Karrigan, like, it just incredible how he just changed into a whole different person altogether.
It's impressive, man. You know, he's winning majors while fighting crime at the same time. Like, you just gotta say fair enough to that one. In this round,
breaking, well, what do you call it? Those box office records as well. What a man.
Chad behavior. Only with a P250 though. He's just like, listen, I don't need that AK. I don't need any deagles. I'm fine. You guys go win this one for us. Twists will oblige, but Rain's been traded back. It does open up a few avenues through on middle, though, and they're going to try and exploit this. Already pushing through. Pete comes in from Tabson. Twists is low, however. The in swing from Brokey. Twist has also got one, and now puts Crimbo in an awkward spot. He's had a bit of a quiet game himself. Now would be a great time for him to ignite and explode, and FaZe have the player advantage.
They notice no one at A. You can see the panic play coming from Crimbo, the Molotov just being lobbed in. He can't run on ahead. He can try and prevent the bomb from getting planted, but no, the nade won't deal enough damage. Karrigan just barely getting tagged, and this is so uncomfortable here, Vince.
Oh, they're both stuck together as well. There's no flanking contingent. There's no one coming through on long. I'm not sure if Twist saw that. Well, that spray. Oh, it's so good. Crimbo somehow survives. And now it is down to the Cape Crusader himself. Oh, the shot from Karrigan is ridiculous, but Favin has him dead to rights. And Big
what a read.
Can breathe a sigh of relief.
What a read from Crimbo. He knew the lurk was coming in. He knew who was still alive. He knew it was going to be Rops coming in from mid. Waits patiently. And that spray, that was a 50-50 spray. He just went for the full commit. The last bullet gets to kill, and despite the heroics of Karrigan with a deagle shot, that was a great little flick there. Favin will trade, and Big, yeah. It's not been easy, Vince, but they are slowly but steadily crawling back. Favin will be challenged, but Brokey actually getting the opening duel. Sirsen will fall, and FaZe are not going to peek back towards mid again.
I don't need to for the time being. Can make Big stew and sweat on this one for a little bit. HE up and over, decent damage to Twists. With a smoke down, Tapson can't get any clear line of sight. And B-site was momentarily vulnerable, so he has to now make moves over. This is very uncomfortable for Big, and they may feel compelled to try and go for some of these fairly aggressive peaks now, just to get a little bit of a stranglehold over the situation, just to try and get a little bit of information for themselves. Favin with the Molotov up and over. It's in the right place, but there's still so much time left, Blair. It's only stalls for another 5 or so seconds, and FaZe can take their sweet time before they decide where they want to push in.
Thing is, they still have a lot of a few smokes remaining for the side of Big. But like I said, like so much time. Great flashbang from Favin, but not quite able to catch a blinded Twist. And the players are snuck on. And oh, missed shot. That could be crucial here. That's going to allow the opportunity for three of them to group up together. Tizian's in a rough spot. He's in a rough spot. He's got backup as well nearby. Tizian needs to hold the ground, though. And the smoke's going to be so instrumental in him staying alive, dealing a lot of damage as well as Favin in the middle, dealing death and deliverance for Big. A 4K for Favin. That is played to perfection. A couple of whiff shots earlier on, Vince, but that is a tale of redemption.
It is a tale of redemption, but it felt like FaZe started tripping over themselves. You know, we were building that round up like, okay, look, they've got a couple of incendiaries out. They've done a decent job of stalling, but at some point, FaZe can just pull the trigger and just get hot and heavy and get in their face. It never came. They just got picked apart one by one by one. And Favin is loving life. He can just sit in middle with the AWP, turret up. They're good shots, don't get me wrong, but it's one by one peaks. You'll take those all day, every day.
As the double ops will once again sing in tandem. This just feels like op_India for Big right now. Attack coming in from the scout from Twist. Is Favin going to dare going for the peak again is the question. It looks like he is. Both the players have been tagged down though with the scouts, so they need to be a little careful. But this should be almost a guaranteed round for Big, Vince, and that means round number 12, the deficit down to just 2 more rounds. FaZe, they've kind of hit a rut now. It's come very close a couple of times, Vince, but not quite able to close it out. And this is one thing we talk about when it comes to this team, is the individual clutch ability and the brilliance of this team to manage to close out rounds like this, but it hasn't gone their way. It's been going the way of Big every single time, and now 6 in a row for the German side.
I'm getting a bit of deja vu as well here, Blair, because this is almost the exact same outcome as what we saw when Big played earlier against Entropic. Their T side was pretty abysmal. They got 4 or 5 rounds. It was this CT side that they really started to rip through the rounds and make the comeback a reality. And you have to consider, even in this as well, FaZe started the round off really well, the half, I should say, after breaking Big's economy after winning the second round. And they really capitalized on it after that. Once things started to get a little bit more stable, Big have been looking sharp. Some of the players, the components that really weren't showing up before, like Favin, man, his AWPing has been on point. 22 kills, you can't argue with that. And now FaZe, they're actually in trouble.
I feel like Favin's actually got more kills with the AWP than Sirson so far. But then again, as you said, it's like one by one, just feeding the beast. We saw that happen a couple of times from FaZe as well against OG, which were punished. But that time, they were able to close it out. Right now, though, Big mounting this monumental comeback. What was it, Vince? Was like 14-5 or something? 14-6?
Yeah, 14-6, I think.
Oh, great setup there. Great bait setup. Rain not able to get anything done. It was all alone as well. There was no one nearby to trade for him if needs be. And look at everyone else from the Big side towards long, relocating, moving together like a pack. FaZe, though, they look like they have a feeling that A bomb site might be too much to work with. Gonna go heading towards a B bomb site where they really haven't tried too many times actually in the recent past. And with Big just re-aggressing, if they re-aggress towards long and if they find information here, that could be the call for the rotation taking place towards B, but no. This is strange. There's no one watching B, but the flashbang should be the giveaway.
Yes, absolutely. That is the point where you expect Favin to spin around, pincer in. There's a secondary player here as well. Favin nails Carrigan, and there is the bait and switch, the crossfire. A thing of beauty. No players drop on the side of Big. And FaZe Clan, I mean, they are reeling. You can't say anything fairer than the fact that Big have just started to show up in spades. Like, they've moved through the gears so rapidly.
But even if you look at this round, like Rain alone getting caught there, no one swinging with him, there was no flashes to help him out, so he dies alone, and then the remaining members of FaZe just group up together, telegraph their presence towards the B tunnels, and then just run on out and get absolutely manhandled. Now the buy, it's going to be just pistols, maybe a scout getting purchased by FaZe. And as long as Big continue doing what they've been doing thus far on this comeback train, it should be scores getting tied up. It's going to be 14-all from 14-6. They would have won almost 8 rounds in a row. And I just have to say, I did not see that coming.
No, absolutely. Same here. I thought this was kind of a done deal, to be honest. It's FaZe, Dust 2, map that they're very comfortable with. Massive, vast lead. Big look lost. And yet here we are. And that comeback train, more like a locomotive at this stage. And it's picking up pace. It doesn't seem like it can be stopped. Favin, one more time with the AWP, rings out. Now, it wasn't a full investment. They're only on pistols. But this man, he just seems like he's everywhere. Searson with a secondary AWP, already making moves down in the tunnels. Misses his shot. That was a very difficult one to connect to be fair to him. And drops a nade and backs off.
Nade. Yeah, follow-up nade dealing so much of damage, though. Favin has just been kind of like a Lovecraftian beast at mid, like just unstoppable. But here comes the push. Tech 9s. Favin's going to burn Rain alive, and Karrigan all alone.
Pushes through, gets the drop. How is that even possible?
What?
No one was watching mid, but it may not end up mattering anyway because the last two of FaZe have to push through tunnels into the claustrophobic, close-knit angles, and Tabson will just push them out. So yes, it looked a little bit scrappy, but all things considered, that was still comfortable for Big.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Very, very comfortable indeed. Look at the money for Crimbo. He's at max money. 16,000, just repurchase a little bit of utility. That's about Favin's own 10k Tizians and 10k Searsons and 11k. If that money doesn't tell the story, I don't know what does. Big have somehow, defying all expectations, brought this one back. They've won 8 in a row to tie things up, and Crimbo will continue to put in the pain as Tizian finds Twist as well in the smoke. There's long doors, seemingly the burial ground for FaZe, but Brokey does bring back one, takes down the danger man, that is Favin at mid, leaving the B bomb site only with one defender, and that is Searson.
He will not miss that opportunity. So disjointed now, FaZe. Shots that they were connecting easily before seem like they're impossible. Brokey, last man, being flanked in from left and right. Still putting that up to use, but once that smoke clears in middle, he's going to get fragged down from Tizian, and Big take the lead on the home stretch. They themselves have a map point.
At the beginning of this half, I said if there was ever a time for God B to give a rallying cry, now's the time. It seemingly he did so, Vince. I wish I was a fly on that wall listening to what he said. Probably would need Google Translate because I'm assuming it would be in German, but still, I just want to know what he told his men, or rather what he told Favin in particular to bring this one back. But what looked like a done game, a quick and easy game for FaZe Clan. Now they're staring down the fact that there are going to be a map down in this best of 3 series. Big, 4 kills away from taking the first map.
Yeah, and a chance as well to just basically confirm your way through to the playoffs. So, this is a bitter pill to swallow for your FaZe. It's amazing, it's elation if you're Big, but they still have to make sure that they cross the T's, they dot the I's, and they get themselves across the board for the last time in this map. Because although FaZe are like wounded, licking their wounds at this point, they're still dangerous. They're still a threat, as Brokey proves, as does Rain. Are they about to turn the tides back in their favor and take us to OT? Searson bides his time, patience paying off. Doesn't snatch at the opportunity. Molotov though connects on him. Smoke out on 28 HP. He survives. But now they can try and turn their attention towards the site. Rain does spot one player up there, but Searson trying to get round the side of the smoke is going to nail Rain with the AWP before Brokey comes back in. But it will have to be a 1v3 clutch. He at least has a smoke and an incendiary for the cross. But they know exactly where he is. And he has to pick up this next frag. And he does just that. Last player stands to reason that Favin would be in middle. And Brokey does have the bomb. Decides to push into Favin. Decides to get aggressive. And gets punished as a result.